Oh,
Can you hear me?
yeah.
Yeah. So there's like an incoming video call just now, and it's like exit directly from the live stream. So and then I tried to get back in, and then like nothing happened. Okay, so I was like, okay, wow. Okay, so how are you today?
Uh,
Is that
there we go.
it's really good to see you again.
Good to see you too. Thank you for having me back on.
Yeah. So Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, and also Happy Chinese New Year.
Same to you as well.
Yeah, and one more, Happy wedding to you
Uh,
because I haven't said it to you like face to face, right?
it feels
Yeah,
like it's been a while,
like
but I guess, what, 5 months now?
mm, yeah. I mean, like last year was like really crazy year for you. You are like so busy with events and then your wedding, and like the really cool thing for me is like you perform on your wedding day, and it's like you combined it with the dance. I was like, how did you do that? I was like, that's really creative. Like, well, I wish I could like have like more of those things because like back then when I had my 17th birthday. So it was in a
Mhm.
restaurant, and I did not play any music though, but I only danced for the show. And my mom said, "I think you're the one being celebrated. You don't need to perform." She said like that. And I was like, "Yeah, but I want to, because like we're artists, we need to, like express ourselves, right?"
I will say I was told many times, oh, how are you going to perform on your wedding? Like,
Yeah, I
you
know.
shouldn't have to worry
Yeah,
about that.
true.
And I was
That
like,
is like,
no, it's no worry. Like, this is what I want to do.
yeah, yeah, that's true. Mm. And like I also had to like do costume change. So it's like the first time I came, I was like using like princess dresses, and then like in the middle, I changed to dancing clothes. It's like okay, every 5 minutes, let's change again and then change back. Yeah, but I think that's really fun. It's like it makes your events more meaningful. I think that's
Hmm.
from my side. What do you think?
Definitely. That's all I can say.
Yeah, that is true. Okay, so I think some people already joined us this morning. So it's early morning for me and late night for you, as usual.
10 o'clock.
But this is
Yep.
the best time. Yeah, this is the best time with our 12 hours difference, and it's only during daylight savings. It's like the only best time. Or else it will be too early and too
Hmm.
late for you again, right? Okay, so let's welcome everyone today. So we're going to have a managing music topic today. So how you're going to manage yourself as a solo career or like with a band. Like John's case, he has Midnight Motion Band. So you have about 5, 6 members now, right?
6 of us, yep, including myself.
Six. Yes. And two guitarists or bassists, was it?
So it's saxophone,
Mm,
myself, lead
mm-mm,
vocals, and then we have guitar,
mm-mm.
bass, drums, and keys.
Okay, that is really good. It's like really a good texture to add with the guitar and the bass because sometimes when you only have the bass, it's like, okay, just bass, but you add another layer of guitar, it's like, okay, this is really cool, right? And
Espe-
it has this different texture added to the music. Mm,
Especially the style we play, it needs that guitar in there just it adds rhythm to it, which is really nice.
yeah, that is really cool. And oh, by the way, I want to ask you something. So,
Hmm.
okay. So for those of everyone, actually, I don't think everyone watched our previous talk show, the one that is musicians' values. So we're going to do a bit of the refresher on that. So the last time we talked with John about musicians' values, that is including discipline, patience, curiosity, patience, and respect, and also compassion for ourselves and others. So I think we're going to include these values into the talk show also this time. So we're gonna start with what's new with you. Okay, so your new album and then your merchandise, your t-shirt, CD links, and we will also post that in the comment section so everyone can actually see it directly to your links.
Oh, there it is. I just saw it pop up on my screen.
Yes. Mm-mm. Okay, so tell me about your new album. So how was the process of the new album from the like from the writing and then the recording and the engineering until the music production finished?
So I'll go back to my album from this past summer, Summer Nights, because I did two singles for the holidays, and both of those were a lot of fun. But it's a little bit easier doing individual songs versus an entire 10-song
Mm,
album. But it was a lot of fun, I will say. It was a lot of work, of
mm,
course, because as you mentioned already, there's writing, there's
yeah.
production, there's the actual recording, and a lot of times you spend so much time writing the music that then, oh
Mm,
no, now I have to go record it. But
yeah.
and that can take several takes because when you're live, you just kind of have to do it. But when you're
Sure.
recording, you
Yeah.
want to get everything as perfect as possible. And
Oh, that is so true.
after that, you sit there and you mix it and you mix it, and you're tweaking things and
Mm,
trying different things to just bring out the vision that you originally had in your mind when you went to write the music. And then you master it, and you've probably listened to every single song about a million times by now, and you're completely sick and tired of them and never want to hear them again. And then the album comes out, and now you have to perform them.
I know. Mm-mm. So it's like the whole cycle again and again. Oh, by the way, this time are you involving your dad with the music engineering stuff?
Yep, yep. It was a
Mm.
little bit different this year because the studio that I normally would record in it was packed up and put into storage for the time being, but I will be able to. It's coming back out soon, so I had to
Okay.
get. But Midnight Motion is actually also. We just started recording our first debut EP, and that should be coming
Mm.
out this summer. And in that case, we went into a studio here
Oh,
in
okay.
Boston and worked with phew,
Mm.
a really awesome guy. He was amazing behind the console.
Wow. Okay. I think I saw that post actually, but I forgot. I think like a few days ago, right? When you were at the recording studio.
We started in October, and we've been
Mm.
working on drums and bass recorded, and coming up next is piano and keys, and then we'll just start layering in the vocals
Mm.
and the sax.
Okay, that's really good. Okay, so the next one, how about your merchandise, the CD and the T-shirts and well, I know all of your social media, so I know all of them already. So from the Instagram and Spotify and YouTube, so I follow like your YouTube and Instagram and Facebook already. But I don't have Spotify. Actually, I have it, but it's still not working. So okay, well, there's still others I can follow. Yeah. And so far, I think I already decided that my favorite from the summer nights is the smile. I think that's like the best piece for me. It's like it calls on me.
It's a fun one. It's different. I don't really
Yeah.
know why I called it Smile because it's
Mm,
in a minor key, so it actually kind of sounds a little
I
angry or
know.
sad, but I don't know. It's a smile.
So maybe it's in an ironic way, maybe. Oh, this is so funny. Okay. All right. Oh, for example, if like one day you will make the t-shirt links like online for sales,
Correct.
right? Or okay.
Yes, we
Okay, so
currently
we'll
have
just wait for that. Mm.
up.
How
I
about
just saw
the
Mike shouted out. Thank you very much,
yeah.
Mike. Hope to hang out with you
Thank
soon.
you, Mike.
Okay, yeah, so
And
t-shirts, you
mm-hmm.
had mentioned. Yeah, we're in the process of getting them online. Right now, we've only been selling them at shows, but we're
Mm,
also going to be putting together a whole online store, hopefully very soon. In the meantime,
okay.
streaming is available. I
Mm-mm.
mean, CDs,
Yeah.
some people say CDs are dead. Some people want them. You go to a
Really?
concert, you go to a show.
Yeah,
Some
true.
people will buy
Mm,
CDs.
yeah.
But
But the CD is for online sales, right? I mean, like
they are
globally.
available online as well.
Okay, that is good. Because actually, CD is the thing with CD is like you can keep it and you can actually store it in your laptop and you can hear it like with the full, like effect and quality, rather than streaming. That's what I think. Because like That's point of buying it, like the high quality, streaming. It's also streaming, but it's like you don't have to stream it anymore because you have it already.
And I think with the CDs,
Mm.
sometimes the whole extra creativity that comes out with it, with the album artwork. On streaming, you only see one
Yeah,
image, the front cover.
true, true. Mm. And also, you usually have like your words right in there, and then like your photos. And actually, I love like seeing that. It's more personal for me.
Definitely, and I think as
Mm.
artists and as a band, it all comes down to a story because you need to be able to market. You can't just go out and say, "Oh, hello, I'm John Lawson. I play the sax.
Mm.
Now,
True.
go stream my music." People want to connect on a
Mm.
much deeper level. So as you were saying,
Yeah,
any way that you can get that story across, and that's
yeah,
that's really
that is true.
it brings the music full circle, all about telling that story.
Yeah, I agree with you like totally because the connection is why we want to see you, we want to feel you, we want to know how you're feeling with your music, what you're trying to, send the message for us, The story is like the most touching thing that we can transfer through music. And it's like only those who understand music can understand what we meant, you know? Yeah.
Hmm.
Mm, that is true. Okay, so I think we have a lot of people now. Okay, so let's go to our discussion. So, about managing music for your solo career. So, you already told us about your music production, and it also involved your dad and also not this new amazing guy. Okay, and and how about your marketing? How about your marketing for your solo career?
That's always the never-ending question, right?
Yeah.
Everything is changes so fast.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, networking is huge. Is every time you go out and you have a show, is who can you
Mm.
network with at that event? Facebook ads, believe it or not, actually
Mm.
have pretty good success driving people to
Yeah.
your streaming services.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, of course, it's kind of like spending money to get people to
True.
listen, but
Mm-mm.
there really isn't too much in terms of organic growth out there, in my personal opinion.
Yeah.
Sure, you might get somebody out on TikTok, posts one video, it blows up, gets millions of views, they're now famous.
Mm.
But we're
True.
also starting to see record labels paying money to TikTok influencers to promote
Yeah.
music. So
Yeah.
we're still, as individuals, the record labels with
Mm.
all kinds of money.
Yeah. True. By the way, do you set aside like a budget for like the year? Okay, so this is my marketing budget for the year. I'm going to use it maybe like monthly or like every quarterly or something.
That would be a great idea. I'd like to say that I set out for
Mm-hmm.
that. I guess in learning Facebook marketing, you learn what a good number or per ad set to try and spend is. Um, and it also depends on when you have new music out because eventually the results start to fizzle
Yeah.
away. For
Yeah.
example, advertising Christmas music past Christmas,
Mm. True.
a waste of money in that case. So it
Yeah.
isn't necessarily a budget per year or per month, but it's okay, we have an
Mm.
album, we have a project, and we're actually going to be doing this with Midnight Motion and the EP that we
Mm-mm.
come out with. But we have a project and we're going to set a budget aside for the advertising for that.
Okay, that is really good idea. So it's based on your work and then you set it from there, right? Okay.
That would be
Then the
correct.
next one, how about for a group? So when you're in your band, you also have your own like music production and also marketing, right? And you
Hmm.
also have a separate recording time for it, right?
It is all separate,
And
yes.
how would you like plan it? For example, okay, so last year you have both of them. You have both recording for your uh solo album and also for your band album. How do you manage that?
Well, when this is what you love to do. This is what you do. But from a organizational standpoint, definitely calendars and any.
Mm.
I like to use like an online. I don't even know how to describe it, but it's a like a task board almost, and so you can
Oh.
kind of keep track of where everything is. And it's great if you
Mm-hmm.
can also invite your band members into this board because then you can
Mm.
set like a task that says, oh,
Mm-mm.
guitar should be recorded or piano. And then you can just
Mm-mm.
follow along and make sure that everything's being taken care of along the way.
Okay, that is good. And how about the budgeting for the band?
Recording or
So for the recording, it's you have to pay for the rental of the studio, right?
correct. So we're
Mm.
actually going to be launching a crowdfunding campaign.
Mm.
We've never
Mm.
used this before, but seeing that this is our first album release, we'd like to go ahead and
Mm-hmm.
give that a try. So that will be coming out in the next couple of weeks, but we're going to be transparent, and all of any money that we receive is going to be used for the recording, for the
Okay, that's good.
production. So
Ah,
it
I
will.
see. So it will also include for the marketing also, right?
Marketing, we're also going to be doing a
Mm.
big, hopefully, I don't want to jinx anything, but hopefully we will be able to put on a big album release show
Okay.
and here in the Boston area, be able to invite people.
Okay, that's really good.
And
I
so part of
understand.
it with the
Mm.
crowdfunding is also drawing up support and almost excitement for
Yeah,
the album, not just
sure. Yeah. That's actually a two-way street. Yeah. And how about like
in
before this?
itself.
Before this, you have like a budget set aside before like you're going to set up the crowdfunding?
Um, I mean, the band hasn't really come into too much in terms
Mm-hmm.
of needing a budget. We've all been very lucky that we've all had musical experiences
Yeah.
before being a band. Now that we're all in our mid to late 20s, so it's we haven't had instrument repairs or any equipment go
Mm.
malfunctioning. I
Yeah,
mean, I
yeah,
had
yeah.
sound equipment from that I've had for years from my previous band,
Mm.
so we haven't really needed that yet. But being
Okay, that
this
is good.
EP project, that will change.
Mm. But like for example, if you're going to have this fix something, are you going to like pitch in everybody from the members or maybe like for example, okay, if the drummer's instrument something is like goes wrong with the stick or something, so it's his own personal funds or what is it better? What like
Generally, it's
is it like
the
put together?
responsibility of the band member.
Mm,
Generally, it's each band
mm,
member is responsible for their own equipment.
mm.
I mean,
Okay.
it's. I'm trying to think of a good comparison from work, but I feel like if you had something break at work, they'd make you pay for it anyway
Yeah, yeah,
because they don't want
yeah,
to pay
yeah,
for
yeah. True,
anything.
true.
But it's kind of like you
Uh-huh.
possess the skills, but part of the skills
Mhm.
to complete you, that's one part of completing your job, but the other part is the necessary equipment. So
Mm.
if a guitarist shows up to a gig and they break a string, this has
Yeah.
happened, and they don't have any more strings, well, in our
That's so
case,
bad.
in our case,
Mm.
we've actually had it where our guitarist kind of ran off stage for like 5 minutes because he had
Mm.
another guitar. He brings like two or
Okay,
three
that's
guitars to every
good.
show.
Oh, thank God.
So in the case of repairs or upgrades, because we've
Mhm.
had our pianist
Mhm.
went from he had a
Mhm.
Casio piano and now he bought a Roland
Mhm.
keyboard and it's just incredible.
Oh,
And
that's good. Yeah, yeah,
so
yeah, yeah.
everybody kind of just gets everyone's so excited and passionate about it that it doesn't seem like,
Mm.
oh, I want a new piano. Okay, band, pay for it.
Mhm. Yeah, true, true. I mean, like it's for our personal use also. Anyway, it's not only for the band, right? We bring it home. Oh, by the way, you know why? Actually, I'm doing this talk show because, for me, I never ever have to bring my own piano ever. Everything is like prepared for me. I'm like so spoiled, you know. Like sound system, oh, they prepared for me. Okay, I just bring myself and maybe my score and maybe like the stand, you know. I've never bring I had you know like bring the keyboard or something, you know, because I
Mm-hmm.
watched that like my teacher, she had to bring, you know, like her keyboard or her kucheng, you know, everywhere, you know. and sometimes with the cable stuff, to connect it to the sound system. I never ever have to bring anything. I just bring myself. It's like, oh my God, it's like a lot of things that you have to think and you have to bring, and also like time, that you have to manage for like only one show, and you have to do it like over and over again, right? And it has to
Right.
be like constantly. You have to know, okay, this is what I'm gonna do for the show, blah 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 blah. Like everything has to be organized, or else like something goes wrong. Like the one thing that we discussed this in our previous talk show also, like what if like something goes wrong, right?
Yeah,
Mhm.
we've definitely we had this streak where almost every gig we played for like the span of 2 months, something went wrong in turn. Not that we
Mm,
played something wrong or didn't do something
yeah.
right, but
Hmm.
bass amp that started feeding back for no reason, a guitar amp that just stopped working, a piano that just stopped playing sound. All of this in the very
Yeah,
first
yeah,
song
yeah.
too. It's like I go to cue the
Mm.
first note and it's like, all right, we're off to a fantastic start. And this happened for like a month, but
Oh my God.
luckily nothing was broken. We just figured that it was
Uh-huh.
some ghost haunting us or something.
Yeah.
But luckily no
I know.
major
It's like,
repairs, but
yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, like maybe like the sound system people on like the site and our cables that are not matching, or their cables are not matching with the instruments. Yeah, we really don't know, because like yesterday, I was on the Chinese
mhm.
show, so my teacher brings her own like cable stuff. I think with a condenser or something. So she connected it with the sound system man in the mall, right? And it's like, oh, the first time, okay, it works, and then like the third time or something, it just stopped. So after and then stopped. I was like, and the show already started, right? So everything like stopped. So we fixed everything first and everything on. Oh, thank God. Okay. And like we have to. It's like, yeah, because like without the sound system, your sound cannot come out completely. It comes out, but like
Right.
not to the amplified sound that you want.
And everybody knows something's wrong if the guitarist is like playing a bunch of notes but hearing nothing. So,
Oh yes. Yeah, there's like so funny. What are you?
but we've,
It's not lip sync. What is it? The other term of
I
something
mean,
sync?
but with time and
Uh-huh.
experience, it just
Mhm.
ends up that you kind of expect almost anything could happen. I mean, new things will happen and always throw
Mm.
you off, but that's why, I
Mhm.
mean, we played, I don't actually know the exact every single show that we played last year, and I think it was somewhere
Mhm.
in the 30s. And he could tell you every
Yeah.
single show that we played, like in order.
Wow.
But when you're constantly playing,
Mhm.
you just okay. We need to bring an extra guitar. We need to bring a whole bucket of cables. We need to bring power cords. We need
Sure.
to bring. I mean, I walk around with
Mm.
extra fuses for the
Oh
speakers in case a
my
fuse
God.
blows. Just that if
Yeah.
no matter what the situation
Yeah,
is,
I
you're
know.
prepared to do the
Mhm.
job.
Yeah, true. Because like without the sound, it's like, yeah, it's not helping at all. Especially like if my teacher is playing like acoustic instrument, right? It's like so small.
Mm-hmm.
It's like
Mm-hmm.
nothing, you can hear nothing. Like I'm like only like 3 meters away from her, and then like, I can hear nothing. I was like, oh, this is so sad. And sometimes,
Mm-hmm.
because like she performs with singers, and then like some people actually requested to also join to sing. So they took her mic for the singers and the audience. So they, she played, but nothing comes out.
Oh,
It's like, oh, please don't do that to her. But there's nothing we can do about it.
mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's like very important to also bring extra mic maybe for those singer kind of
Mics,
setting.
cables.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that is so true. Okay. Oh, okay. So the next one, actually, I want to. Oh, by the way, talking about the sound system, have you ever like been in this situation, but you're alone? Like you're the only one performing on that day, and like something is wrong with the sound system, or maybe your instrument.
I have not, actually. Luckily, I need to knock on
Really?
wood somewhere, but I've never had a sound
Okay.
system failure when it was just myself.
Uh-huh.
So
Okay, that
that's
is
lucky.
good. Yeah, that is very lucky. Well, I hope it's always been like that. So you're not gonna face any problems by yourself. Okay. Okay. So the next one, uh, okay. So about, for example, like when you're in a group setting, like in a band or something, if you have a disagreement, what would you do? For example, like, oh, I don't like to play this song this way. Maybe we have to change it to my way or somebody's way. Have you ever like encountered that kind of stuff?
Oh, yeah.
A lot?
I mean,
Mhm.
I have to be very careful.
Yes, yes. Hmm. Just in
I mean,
general,
so
so maybe we can learn from you
yeah,
what to do.
I
Hmm.
think part of it, and it kind of goes into what some of the other things we're going to talk about is how do you find
Mm,
the right people to put around you, to have around you in a band. And part of it is
mm,
knowing how each individual person and their personality, how to work with them. So that if there's
yeah,
a
sure.
disagreement, because there have been, with Midnight Motion, there have been a couple moments,
Mm,
not as a band where we've had a fight or an argument or a
yeah.
debate, but we've had a
Mm,
few disagreements about things, but we all are generally really good friends. We all get along very well, so it's
mm,
not like anyone's going to be hurt. Um,
mm-hmm.
but I have had past experiences. I mean, the world of musicians has every personality you could probably
Yeah,
imagine.
sure. Mm,
Um,
yeah.
being at Berkeley for school, Berkeley College of Music was also very interesting. Everybody there had their own unique individual identity, and there were
Yeah.
so many people, but with talent, a lot of times came a little bit of ego with some
Yeah.
people, not many, but
Mm-hmm.
some. And
Mm-hmm.
sometimes the best way to work with them is to just not, or just ignore it, just
No.
let them do their thing, and focus on what your
Mm,
responsibility is. But in the case
yeah.
of a band arguing or you're
Mm-hmm.
recording, you want to try and just work with the people. Luckily,
Mm-hmm.
we haven't had anything major to this point, but I
Mm-hmm.
think that's also the blessing of being able to work with people that you can really trust, that you get along with. We
Yeah.
have had moments of
Mm,
trials, of course, as any band would, but
yeah.
we're still here several years later, so.
Yeah, it's like so good. I mean, like seeing you actually performing together, it's really good, John, because like one cannot exist without the other. It's like because I was also in a dance group. Sometimes someone decided not to come to the practice, but our practice just go on. Okay, we don't care because like we need to practice. We have a deadline that we have to follow for the show because like, well, the teacher is already here, we cannot like wait for you or something, right? And how about you? I mean, like, have you ever like encountered like maybe in previous bands that, someone doesn't
Oh
want to
yeah,
come or something?
in one of my old bands, we had a member that would show up to practice at least 45 minutes late every single time, and at that point, you can reserve the rehearsal room for 2 hours. At that point, they've missed half of the
Oh,
rehearsal.
mm-hmm,
In the wedding band that I was in before Midnight Motion,
mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
we had some problems with practice and also showing up on
mm.
time. And
Also to
it
the
just
event
goes
or just the practice?
events too.
Wow. Okay, that's bad.
Events too. We had problems with people showing up.
Okay.
I mean, they would always show up, but you knew they would
Mm-hmm.
always come. You just didn't know when they would get there.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
We had a wedding that we played out on an island that was 3 hours from Boston plus an
Oh
hour
my
fare.
God.
And we get down there and
Uh-huh.
somebody forgot a power cable.
Oh my God.
It's not like you can just call
And
up
then
Sweetwater or walk into a guitar center. So
you're in
it
the
comes
middle of
back.
the sea.
It comes back to finding the
Uh-huh.
right people to work with. and being able to
Yeah, that is
trust people.
correct. Yeah, it is like so funny. You're in the middle of nowhere and you forget something. It's like even though like you want to go back,
It was bad.
it's like yeah,
But I will say
yeah, that is true.
the other
Mhm.
nice thing about our current situation is that we've gotten ourselves to the point that the band is diverse enough that no matter what the
Mm.
situation, we can still play a show. So
Uh,
we have both a
that's good.
lead singer and then our guitarist has jumped in many times now to sing lead
Mm.
vocals as well
Wow.
when our lead singer was not able
Mhm.
to make a show, so it's
Yeah.
been great. We've been able to just handle anything thrown our way.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's actually a really good thing. So it's like, well, in management, I would say job rotation, but not really because your guitar still play the guitar, right?
He still plays the guitar, but then he also
Okay.
sings.
Okay, job diversification. Okay, that's really cool. I mean, like, because sometimes not everyone can sing. You can sing and your guitarist can sing, but not everyone can sing because singing requires another skill that you have to be
Hmm.
able to actually do it while playing the instrument. And I actually spend more time teaching this to students because, okay, they can sing very well, but without playing the piano. But when they play the piano and sing, they just stop either the singing or the piano.
Right.
Yeah, right? Yeah. And oh, by the way, if like somebody asked you that question, how would you answer if how would you consider that as a show, like a two instrument show or just still solo?
I mean, I would do a two
Mhm.
instrument show. I've done it in the past. Sax and
Mhm.
guitar, sax and piano. A lot of times when you play weddings, they have the cocktail
Mhm.
hour before the full
Oh,
reception,
mhm.
and they want some light background music while it's going
Mhm.
on. So several times it was just like, okay,
Mhm.
John, like go
Mhm.
play some jazz for an hour. It's like, oh,
Yeah.
okay. And so it would just be
So
me and
you
a
play the
guitarist or a
saxophone and then
pianist.
you change. Oh, I see. So
So
that's
just
actually
two.
really good because here we don't have that kind of stuff. So, like for example, you have a wedding. Okay, that's it. Just the wedding. Like for example, from 7 to 9 p.m. or something.
Hmm.
Or but in the Chinese way, so we have this tepai. So tepai is in the morning. We have to pray to our ancestors and also our parents. So in that ritual, they usually have music, but sometimes it's like kuchang music. But it's only also for like 1 hour or something, and then we just stop, and then we get ready for for example, if you have like a Buddhist ritual or something, so the religion stuff first, or to the church or something, and then at night, then we have the reception. So it will be like two separate hours, so you cannot be there
Hmm.
like the whole day, right? But in your case, it's like only 1 hour before the reception
Yeah,
for the
a lot of
cocktail.
times the ceremony it happens and then the reception,
Mm-hmm.
and they will allow this kind of
Mm.
hour and a half in between the dinner and the ceremony, and that's
Oh,
kind of where they just
I
fill it with
see. Mm-hmm.
people standing and talking, and so that's where they just
Mm-hmm.
go. So being a musician for a wedding here can
Mm.
lead to a lot of different things.
Such as.
Oh, well, in our case,
Mm-hmm.
we've had to play. I mean, and I haven't done a wedding in a little while, but um,
Mm.
in the case that you would possibly have to play or set up the sound equipment for the ceremony, it all depended on the
Mm-hmm.
contract. And then you
Mm-hmm.
might have 5 minutes from the ceremony to tear down that sound system and put it back
Oh
together
my
so that you could play
God.
cocktail hour for an hour and a half.
Oh my God.
And cocktail hour was always
Uh-huh.
saxophone with
Yeah.
guitar or piano, or
Mm.
saxophone, bass,
Yeah.
and guitar.
So more
So you'd have to run
chamber
with all
music.
the equipment, right? Light
Oh my
jazz, chamber
God.
music, plug it
Mm.
all in. And then you finish that
Mm-hmm.
after an hour and a half, go eat some food, and now you have to play for 3 hours when people dance.
Yeah, true, true. But you always eat before, right? Not after.
I won't say always. It all comes back to the
Okay.
contract.
Hmm. Uh, how do you make a contract for a wedding and like a normal gig? I mean, like, is it different or you just make it the same? Which is better?
It's it's definitely different. Events
Mm.
more than just weddings, but corporate events, private events, it's
Oh, there will be a
definitely going.
different term.
It'll have
Mm,
different
I
terms for
understand.
sure. For a
Mm-mm.
normal gig,
And for the, yeah.
certain things like food probably are not necessarily included. It will mainly say
Mm,
the hours that are going to be played, um,
yeah.
who's providing the equipment, what the payment is,
Mm,
when the payment needs to be made by, if there's going to be a
mm,
deposit that the venue
mm-mm,
needs to make or the booker. And things
mm-hmm.
like that. But for a wedding, there's so much more. It could be what the band is
Oh,
going to wear, when
yeah.
they're getting fed, what they're getting fed.
Sure.
Can the band eat the regular food that all the guests
Oh,
are eating, or do they
okay.
have to eat a separate meal?
Mm-hmm.
How many hours of dancing?
Mm.
What about cocktail hour? What about
Oh
the
my
reception,
God.
the
That is
ceremony?
so much already.
And
Oh,
then
I
it gets even
see.
more
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
involved if you have to
Mm-hmm.
travel, like to an island or somewhere overnight,
Yeah.
then it might
Mm-hmm.
require the wedding hosts to get a hotel for the night for the band. So
Yeah.
there's a
Yeah.
lot more negotiation in there than
Mm,
just
I
okay, you're going to show
see.
up at this club, you're going to play from 6 to 9,
Mm,
and
yeah.
you're going to get paid this much.
Mm. How about the rundown, the program list? For example, okay, you have this gig for Valentine's event, for example. Okay, is it like you are going to make the list by yourself or together with the employer or just with the band? Like, which is better, like, to know the flow of the music? Because sometimes in my case, actually, I already suggested before to another member. Okay, so this is what I think the program should be. So you have this flow of music. It connects the flow of the energy and the mood to the audience. But they rejected it, and as a result, of course, the flow is not as smooth as we want it to be. You know, it's like because I had my dance teacher, and she was so good, John. So she told me, your beat has to go up and your key has to go up. So when you finish at the end, it will be a really good energy. Especially when this is for a show, this is not a recital because this is show is to entertain people. It's a different thing when you have your own recital. It's for yourself, right? So what do you think about the program list?
I always make a program in advance. I'm going to speak for a normal show and not a wedding or a private event because
Mm-hmm.
people can make special requested songs, and then of course you have to work
Yeah,
those in
true.
there. But if we're just playing a club,
Mm-hmm.
I'll make the set list. I know approximately how many songs it takes us to fill an hour of music or 2 hours of
Mm-hmm.
music, whatever it is. And we've kind of gotten to the point where we always open the show the same way. We always, almost always end the show the same way. And then
Mm-hmm.
we kind of like to joke because we do these things where every song kind of just transitions into the next song. So the point that we could
Yeah.
probably play for like
Mm-hmm.
40 minutes without actually stopping and
Wow,
play
that's so
like
cool.
eight
Mm-hmm.
songs. So we always joke that someday we're going to play a 3 hour show and just never stop. Um, but it's almost fun that way too because I think the band has a lot of fun coming up with the transitions and being like, oh, if we did this and then did this, then we could
Mm.
just like go from one song to the next, and it's a lot of fun. But then once you get to that point, making the program can be really easy. Oh, okay, we have
Mm.
45 minutes. That's 8 or 9 songs. Here's what we're
Mm.
going to do.
Yeah, yeah, true. How many songs can you fit in 1 hour?
For about an hour, we would play about 10 to 12
Mm.
songs. It depends on how much talking there is in between songs. We usually don't like to talk a
Oh.
lot in between songs. And so if you
Mm-hmm.
keep it minimal, 10 to 12 songs, when we play our 3 hour set,
Mm-hmm.
which usually has about a 15-20 minute break in the middle, that's about 30 songs.
Oh, okay. So during break, you go eat something or drink something, and then
Go
you go
get
back.
food, go get
Mm,
some water, go back up
I
there, play
see.
some more.
Okay. And how about, for example, like those people who came to you and you just request, can you please play the song or if like, have you ever experienced the people just want to sing with you, and then like for example, the key they don't know what key they are in, and then you try playing it, and then the key is not it's not good, and then you change it, and it's not good also. It's like what to do, but are you going like play for it
I mean,
anyway?
we've
Mm-hmm.
always received requested songs when we go to gigs.
Mm,
If we know the song, we might play it. We actually,
mm,
the last show we had before Christmas, um, somebody did request, they came up to us, they're like, oh, can you play? I don't remember what
mm,
the song was, but can you all play this? And we
mm.
basically got onto the microphone and we were like, oh, that was like the third song we played tonight, so sorry, you
Really?
missed it. If you stay to the
You
end, we'll
played
play
it
it
three
again,
times
type of
already.
thing. Yeah, we had already played it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But we've never had anybody try to come join us, say, "Oh, can I play
Mm,
guitar with you?" or could I sing with
yeah,
you?" And
yeah.
I don't know how we definitely not singing,
Mm,
but if
mm,
somebody showed up and said, "Oh, I can play. Can I jump in on a song with you and play guitar or
mm.
something?" Yeah, I don't know. Depends on the person. Depends on the show where we are.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
with a past band, we did have one person ask to sing with us. They just came up and grabbed a
Hmm.
microphone and started singing with
Wow.
us, and we kind of had to just like take that back and be like, no, you gotta leave.
Uh-huh.
Meanwhile, we're all
Oh, that was
staring at
so
each other
funny.
like, what the heck just happened?
Yeah, 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 I know. But actually here, it happens so much because I don't know, maybe singing is more major here. So whenever there's a band, some people would just came up and then can we sing something with you or something. And then sometimes they will give you tips or something after that. So it's like I don't know, maybe like more an open show. How do you describe it? I mean, like, is it considered a show or something?
I mean, I guess it's still a show, but
Mm,
they have a lot of. I mean, it's a difference between a band playing at a club or an open mic or a jam session and type of where people come and
yeah.
everyone brings their instruments and they want to make music.
Mm, yeah, that is true. I think it's better for a jam session than like for a show because the show is for you, right? For you to,
Especially if
like
the
entertain
band or the
us. Mm.
performers have already put together their program and have perfectly planned
Mm,
everything. The last thing
yeah,
anybody wants is somebody to come and try and
yeah,
change that. And so it just
change
comes to, I
everything.
think, professionalism to know how to handle the situation and also
Yeah,
be
yeah.
very nice
Hmm.
and professional about it.
Yeah, true. And the story about this one is because my teacher's band actually she prepared like I don't know like 20 or 30 song list already, and then, like she is not even halfway, and then like requests started coming in, so like the half of them that they don't play anymore. I was like, oh my God, I already practiced all of these songs, and I can't play all of them anymore, right? Yeah, it's like so sad.
I think
But
it
well,
happens. You'll
they
see
can say
people go
no.
into,
Mm.
yeah, you can definitely say no if you don't know a song or you don't feel comfortable playing it. It should be the
Yeah.
musician's right
Mm.
to nicely and professionally say,
Yeah.
"Oh, I'm sorry, I
Mm.
don't know that one, but let me know if you think of anything else." Or I've seen some places where
Yeah, that's a
people
good
actually
idea.
put if the type of show they're
Mm.
playing is that they do just kind of play cover songs and maybe they're
Mm-mm.
just playing guitar or piano and singing.
Mm-mm.
I've seen before
Mm-mm.
where they have an actual paper that has a list of all of the songs that they know how to
Wow.
play, so they can say like,
Wow.
you can request a
Mm-hmm.
song as long as it's on this list.
I see. That's actually a good idea. Maybe we can try something like that here. Maybe I'm gonna make that a point. Good idea. Thank you, John. Okay. Okay, so the next one. Okay, this is very interesting. Uh, for example, if someone wants to start a band, how many people is actually like good for starters? Like not too much, not too little.
I would say there's no real answer to that, honestly. When I saw these questions
Mm,
beforehand, I was trying to think what I would say, but
mm-hmm,
It's a hard question to answer because it really
Yeah.
depends on what type of music you're going to play. Because if you're a
Mm,
violinist and you want to play with a cellist, then there you go. There's your
mm,
band. Maybe you add another
yeah.
violin, a viola later, and you have a quartet.
Mm,
But
mm-hmm.
the type of music, I think, dictates what you're going to do.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Yeah, true. That's a good one. And in your case, how was the recruitment process for your band? And do you think you also have this instinct of, like, okay, I feel a connection with this person, so I want him or her to be in my band. Like you feel the chemistry between you guys.
I think you can. I'd say I'd say I feel you can feel when somebody is not the right fit for a band more often than you can
Mm,
feel when they are the right fit. You can always
mm,
be hopeful and say, you know what, I like this person. They're a really nice person. They're a great musician. I really want to play with them. But that's
mm,
a harder to identify to me. I that I can't get along with this person at all. And
mm,
so
mm.
Midnight Motion was very interesting, and I had tried for years before Midnight Motion to try and put together bands, and it just never had the right chemistry.
Yeah, yeah,
Um,
yeah, yeah.
but what was different about Midnight Motion was it was actually when I wasn't trying to put together a band. So like when I
Yeah, yeah,
was
I can
trying,
remember you told me.
I was trying to put together bands, and so then you're kind
Mhm.
of pushing, you're
Yeah,
advertising, you're reaching out to people, you're saying, hey, do you know any guitarists? And just because somebody knows a guitarist and they get along with them doesn't mean you will get along with them.
true.
Or not even just get
Mm,
along with them, but also be able to play well, because it's also important that the
mm.
music chemistry matches.
Yeah,
In this
yeah.
case, I was at work one day and my drummer walked in, and he wasn't my
Mm-hmm.
drummer at the time. I had never met him, and he just walked up to me and he said, hi,
Uh-huh.
I hear you play the saxophone. I said, yes. He goes, my
Mm-hmm.
name's Young. I play the drums. We ended up going
Mm-hmm.
out for coffee several times before that,
Mm-hmm.
and he had expressed that since he had come to the U.S., he was from Japan, and he had played in
Oh, mm,
bands when he was in Japan, but since coming to the U.S., he hadn't had any
mm-mm,
opportunities to play. And so
mm-mm,
he expressed that desire to play, and from there we just
mm-hmm.
started meeting people, and we brought them into band.
Yeah, I mean, like it's like flow smoothly to you. It's like fate. I was like, wow, this is like a real life story. It's like you don't need like to get people like advertise or something. When it came by itself, it's actually like a sign or something,
Yeah,
right?
we've never had to advertise.
Mm,
It all just ended up being meeting the right people at the right time, really,
mm,
in this case. But if you're,
mm,
from a professional
mm,
standpoint, if you're trying to make a band and you don't have
mm-mm.
that time to be patient like that, it really
Yeah.
comes down
Mm-hmm.
to two different things. And the one is, are you trying to make a band that you want to play with for the next 40 years? And if so, you
Yeah.
really want to be patient and meticulous about choosing the right people. Or are you
Mm,
trying to
sure.
make a band because somebody wants to hire you to play a concert
Yeah.
in a
Mm-hmm.
month,
Yeah.
five
Mm,
musicians to come play with
yeah.
you?
Yeah, that is true. I mean, like, that's more like an agency, not a band. Like an
Right.
agency, okay, we have these people, so we can like organize them to this event, to this event. But like a band, it's like one unit. You have to be in one unit, right? And what do you think is like
Hmm.
the most important value for like for the band, the team members to be like in one unit, like going strong for everything you're going through?
I think it's the communication is really
Mm,
key. Because you never want anybody to be guessing, like, oh, he or she didn't seem like themselves today. Are they mad at us? Are they upset about something? Is it something else in
yeah.
their life? Because then everyone else starts to worry, and it
Yeah,
just throws.
true. Mm-mm.
And so I'm not saying everyone needs to communicate in the sense of somebody walking into rehearsal and saying, I'm sorry, guys, I don't feel like practicing today. I want to tell you about my problem. Like, okay, perfectly fine. They could. I'm glad people
Yeah,
feel
yeah, yeah.
comfortable to share, especially in a band setting. That It's been nice that
Mm-mm.
as a band, we've also been able to share some of our personal struggles together,
Mm-hmm.
but not in the sense of we need people to come in and say, okay, I'm going to
Yeah.
take the next 45 minutes to tell you about my life. But
Yeah, yeah.
the comfort to be able to work with you, with each other, to play with each other, and to be able to communicate.
Yeah. Yeah, actually, I feel that also because sometimes when I'm teaching, like the student is not feeling good, maybe she was upset from school or something happened, like, well, I cannot say, okay, I don't care what you're thinking. It's lesson time. Okay, we just have to learn something, right? And that's like so cruel, right? So we have to ask them what's going on first, right? After they feel better, then, we can go on with the practice with the lesson, right? Yeah. And I was having one question I skipped. Okay, so for the band practice time, do you think 1 week is enough? Once a week is enough. I mean.
It's once again it's going to be unique for different
Mm,
bands. If you're out
mm,
touring, well, if you're out touring, you've practiced and you're playing so many shows. I mean, but you still are going to have to
yeah.
work on things as you're going along.
Mm,
In our case, we practice usually once a week.
mm,
Sometimes we add in an extra practice here or there if we have a
mm,
bunch of shows that were
mm,
something special that we need to work on. Like last year in the
mm,
summer, we went into a film, we were invited into a film studio to film
yeah.
a
Mm-hmm,
45-minute set, plus they interviewed
mm-hmm,
us. And we had been playing so many
mm-hmm,
shows that we had practiced our program for shows and
mm,
not so much for being in a film studio. And we were like, okay, well, we really
yeah.
need to, this needs to be so, the transitions need to be perfect. Everything needs to
Mm,
be
true.
flowing because it's going to be
Mm,
completely different than
yeah.
interacting with an audience in front of us.
Yeah, that's
So if
true.
you have
Mm,
anything special like that, we practice more than once a week, but also you have to
mm,
balance everyone else's life. If they're all musicians
true.
and that's the only thing they do, then practice as
Mm,
much as you want. But if some people have
yeah.
work or they have school, it
Yeah.
has to fit everyone's schedule so that it's not too overwhelming, but also very productive.
Mm-hmm. So for example, for that film, so you make a new arrangement or something, and you write it down in the song list.
We changed a few of our arrangements a little
Mm,
bit just so that we transitioned from song to song
mm-hmm.
differently in some of the cases than we normally would.
I
So we had
see.
to practice some new
And
transitions.
so you have to go for like 2 times practice until it's like you get the hang of it.
Luckily, we only practiced it once because we already knew all the songs. But in
Mm,
that case, we had our normal practice in which we were practicing everything else that we were working on all summer long, and then we had to
mm.
specially focus in and practice this.
Oh,
And we've had that a
okay, that's
few
really, really
times.
good. Yeah. Actually, when you are having a different event and then you focus on that practice for the event, it's actually better. So it doesn't confuse us, right? Yeah. Okay, last question. Okay, so so if like from your experience, is it better to have another manager managing you or just DIY, manage it yourself?
That is also a very tough
Uh-huh.
question. I'm going to present,
Mhm.
I guess, two sides of it. And
Okay.
if you have somebody else managing you, everything, well, not everything, but a lot of the responsibility comes off your shoulders, which makes it a lot easier to be the artists that we truly are and want to be. So
True.
if you don't have to worry
Mm-hmm.
about booking shows, if you don't have to worry about
Mm-hmm.
advertising, if you don't have to worry about taxes of all the last thing anything a musician wants to think about, then you can just
Mm-hmm.
sit at your instrument and create. You can write music. You can, if you like making videos, you can make video. You can do all those things that you want to do.
Mm-hmm. True.
But you need to be able to trust that manager, and that manager needs to have your
Yeah.
best interest in mind, which in a lot of cases you hope they do because they make
Yeah.
money when you make money.
True.
But you don't want a manager that's going to come in and say, well, you know what? The last show you played, your songs were averaging 5.5 minutes. That's too long. Audiences start to get bored after 5 minutes, so you
Oh
need to
my
make them
God.
4.5. True
Yeah,
story.
yeah, yeah. Oh my God.
And so,
Uh-huh.
so on
How
one hand, yes,
how
if
did
you
you
have a,
respond?
I don't know. Luckily, I wasn't leading that band, so.
Okay.
Uh, but so the one side
Mhm.
is that a manager will help free up time for you to be able to
Mhm.
do everything else. But my
Yeah,
strategy
true.
has always been that you need to know at least something until you find someone who
Mm.
knows more than you. So you need to know about
Yeah,
composing, which means music theory and harmony. You need to know about
true.
recording, which means engineering.
Mm.
You need to know
Yeah.
about production. You need to know about business in
Mm.
terms of finances, budgeting, spreadsheets.
Yeah.
And then after all
Yeah.
that, you need to know how
True,
to
true.
stage performance and presence. It's
Yeah.
great if you can get up on the stage and play phenomenally, but if you are afraid to speak into the microphone and engage with your
Yeah.
audience, well,
Mm-hmm.
and
Yeah.
some of those things managers can't manage. A manager can't teach you how to speak into a
True.
microphone.
True.
But
Yeah. I'm like I'm so lucky that my mom is my manager because like my how do you say it, adopted dad. So it's like it's not like actually we're connected where he is my, it's supposed to be grandfather, but like this the what is it, the brother of my grandmother, what do you call that?
uncle? Or no, great uncle. Great brother of,
Is it great uncle?
I think so.
Yeah,
Brother of your
something like
grandmother,
that.
right?
Yeah, yeah. So he took me in. So he used to have a recording studio. So he's like a producer, really big back then. It's called Granada Records, and he knows only managing for one artist at a time. So never managing any band. Okay. Everything like from the taking the artist, the first one, he only took the one actually who looks good. So they don't really have the talent like a lot. So they have to train them. Like you you have to practice with your band or something until they become good, and then they publish it, through the advertising and all that stuff. And then what was I thinking? Oh, okay. And also like for example, if like you want to say managing the people, he doesn't actually manage like the fan letters to you. So for example, I wrote a fan letter to you, John Lawson. You will not be the one writing it back to me because you are under a record label,
Right.
right? Yeah, it's like it's not personal anymore. So I think that is that a pro or a con for you as an artist?
I guess it also depends on how busy you are. I mean,
Oh,
if
true.
you get one
Mm.
message, one email, let's say we'll use your example of a fan letter. If you get one fan letter, I feel like that would
Mm-mm.
be an honor to respond to that. But if you get a
Mm-mm.
hundred
Mm-mm.
fan letters or 1,000 fan letters,
Yeah.
it's
Mm-hmm.
it's very
Yeah.
touching, but at the same time, it's so overwhelming.
Yeah. My mom said she's the one actually replying all of those fan mails. The artists actually don't care about it at all. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
So, like for example, like her friend said, "Oh, I think I wrote to that artist like last week or something." Oh, and then inside her heart, I'm the one who's like replying to you.
And to that
Yeah, and then
point,
like
and to
uh-huh.
that point, there's also,
Mm-hmm.
in some cases, there's more than one
Mm-hmm.
manager. Some people,
Mm.
there are managers that manage booking. There's
Oh,
managers that manage the artist,
oh
which
yeah.
could be
Mm-mm.
everything from strategizing songs, the image. What is the story? We talked earlier about in the
Mm.
show, this talk show about
Mm.
every
Mm.
artist needs a story.
Mm.
You can't just advertise yourself, but you need a
Yeah.
story. What is your story? And so you could have a manager that their sole job is just to write the story of who is John Lawson, who is
Yeah.
any famous artist. And they don't do anything with booking.
Mm-hmm.
They don't do anything with recording. They don't do anything with
Sure. Sure.
business. It's
Yeah.
many different
Yeah.
managers.
Yeah. That is actually really true. Okay, so we're at the end of our talk show today. Thank you for today, John. And actually, I want you to give us your last words of everything that you've learned so far from managing your own solo career and also your band, with the musicianship, leadership, people management, personality management, and problem solving. What do you think of everything so far?
It takes curiosity and it takes courage and it also takes passion in the sense
Mm-hmm.
that there will be very, very good days and there will be very, very bad days. There will be things that
Sure.
make you absolutely love what you're doing, and there will be things that make you
Mm.
question everything about what you're doing in life. But
Yeah.
as long as you still have that fire and that passion going, if it
Mm-hmm.
is whatever it is, it could be writing a song and watching it all come together while you're playing the notes on the piano. If that just gives you so much energy and passion, then keep doing it.
Mm-hmm.
If it's getting up on a stage and performing in front of people and giving an audience a evening or an afternoon that they will remember for the rest of their lives, if that's still fueling you, then absolutely go for it, because that makes it worth continuing to fight through any struggles, any days, and especially as a young artist or a unknown artist trying to get out there, don't let
Mm.
anything discourage yourself. Don't compare somebody else's Instagram followers or views on a
Sure.
TikTok video, or, well, why does that person have 200,000 monthly listeners on Spotify? Just keep creating
Mm.
and just keep being you.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much, John, for today. Yeah, I want to tell everyone thank you for watching today, and later I will post this. And also, if you want to see John's publications, actually I already posted it earlier. And, and but by the way, you can follow him on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, Spotify. It's at John Lawson Sykes. And also the link to the what do you call your website for Midnight Motion and also for John Lawson will be posted on the post later on. So thank you. Bye, John.
Thank you for having
I'll
me.
see you.
Bye.
Thank you.